Hi, 18 male, lost my mom 7 months ago to cancer. She'd been sick for 3 years, and in the last 2 months we found out my dad had been having an affair almost the entire time she was sick. My mom was absolutely destroyed by the news when she learned it, and what's worse is my dad's affair partner wanted to try and straighten things out before my mom died. My dad was kicked out the house and mom changed her funeral plans and everything so that my dad wouldn't be able to go. She changed her will and went out of her way to ensure I would get everything, not him. She set it up so my aunt would have temporary guardianship over it, or whatever it's called, and my dad couldn't get his hands on it that way either. She was unequivocal that she had not wanted my dad with someone else while she was alive and would not act like things were okay after either. When my mom died, it was the most painful time in the world for me, and I'm still processing life without her. I also hate my dad for the harm he caused during mom's final months. He made it all 10,000 times harder than it ever needed to be, all because he couldn't remain faithful to her in life. He got engaged to his affair partner the week my mom died. They decided to wait until mom was gone for a year to try and save some of his reputation, but I have hardly anything to do with him, and anything I do with him is because he makes the effort and reaches out. He wanted me to know he was engaged, and he wanted me to meet his other woman, and he forced those things on me. The last time they decided we needed to speak, I told them not to invite me to the wedding because I wouldn't go and respect them enough to RSVP officially. They were upset and told me to think about the future and other BS like that. I told them if they felt they were worthy of being grandparents, which they mentioned, then they needed to think again. Then they tried to guilt me with a sob story of how she was widowed for many years and her kids all turned their backs on her and took her grandkids away because they were disgusted with her for moving on. That didn't move me one little bit. But my dad's family is angry that I'm drawing such a hard line at the wedding. They already know people judge my dad and think it would look way better if I were there. My dad also thinks mom's side telling you that. They are biased and their opinion is worthless. Your father did an atrocious thing. He engaged his affair partner the week she died. Holy crap, that's unforgivable. This other woman's children don't speak with her and that sounds well deserved on her part. You don't need to go to this wedding at all. I think it'd be one last nice screw you in honor of your mom. Can we add the ridiculous idea that the affair partner wanted to straighten things out with mom? Who in their right minds thinks they have the right to go to a dying woman to present their affair partner and straighten things out? Like she would suddenly be all okay with it all and give them their blessing? Her kids don't speak to her because they're all so horrified by her behavior. I doubt it's the moving on. They have an issue with more about how she's gone about it. Angry because she was moving on with a married man whose wife was actively dying from cancer is more like it. I'd be horrified if I were them too. Tell the family harassing you about it that the only way you'll go is if you get carte blanche for the first speech at the reception and you doubt that they would want to hear what you'd have to say about the happy couple. You're just doing what your dad did, practicing what it's like when someone isn't there anymore and just being a bit early with it. It sounds like a good plan. I'd follow suit. You are spot on. I would go, give a speech on what you mention here about their pathetic and harmful love story, leave afterward and block them all. They are being awful to you to try and save face. You deserve so much better, darling. And Dad's family is trying to cover up his heinous behavior. I guess the rotten apple didn't fall far from the rotten tree. I am so truly sorry that all of this happened to you. You deserve so much better. I hope you're allowed the space and respect to grieve and recover from losing both of your parents in this devastating way. My boyfriend, 26, and I, 25 female, have been together for just under 3 years now and are expecting our first child in March. We've been very open about marriage, so the engagement itself would never be a surprise, but the proposal was. He's clueless about rings and my taste in jewelry, so we decided to take a collaborative approach and design my ring together. In the process of all that, I made it very clear what kind of proposal I wanted. I told him explicitly that I wanted to get engaged surrounded by all my closest friends and family, and that having them involved in the surprise was very important to me. After the ring was ordered, I was in the dark. I had no idea when it would be ready and no idea when he would propose to me, so I just waited with excited anticipation. 2 nights ago, we took our dogs on an evening walk at the beach near our house, which we frequent regularly. We sat and admired the sunset as our dogs played in the ocean in front of us. After a little while, he started going on about how much he loved me and how grateful he was to have found me, and then he pulled out the ring box and asked me to marry him. It was completely unexpected and I was a bit shocked. Once I realized what was going on, I kissed him and told him how much he meant to me and how much I loved and cherished him, but I couldn't say yes now because I really wanted my closest friends and family to share the moment with me. He got really upset and told me that he wanted to do something more intimate and keep the moment between us and that he wasn't comfortable doing it in front of everyone. I've tried to reason with him over the past couple of days, but he's been giving me the silent treatment for the most part. I get where he's coming from, but at the same time I had to design my own ring because he doesn't pay enough attention to the small things, like the jewelry I wear, so I really wanted my proposal to be something that he put a lot of thought in to make it special for me. I've heard of countless instances where a girl has turned down her partner's proposal because he did it publicly and she wanted something private. Everyone always seems to sympathize with her and her preferences. The way I see it, this is the exact same situation but reversed. So I don't see why what I did was so wrong. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot, and you're rude. When did the proposal become something that is scripted? The way you built this up in your mind, you should have just proposed to yourself since you had an exact scenario with specific people involved scripted. Lady, you shot yourself in the foot here. A proposal is a one-and-done type of situation. He's proposed to you. The ship has sailed. You had your proposal, and you said no. It won't ever be special like it was again because from here on out, it will not be from the heart. The proposal isn't just about you and your wants, it's also about him. He doesn't want to do a public display. He shouldn't have to simply because you envisioned a TikTok moment. He wished to protect the moment between you both. Privacy, intimate. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't bother again. You've shown how little you care about his preferences. Exactly, it all reads as what she wants, not what he wants. I can't imagine how bad the wedding planning would be. It reeks of main character syndrome. Yes, your friends and family would be happy for you, but I can't imagine caring so much that I'd be included in the proposal. My 27 male and wife, 27, have been together for 4.5 years and married for 2. We discussed kids before marriage and both agreed that we wanted kids. A couple of weeks after we got married, we started trying for a baby and she got pregnant but had doubts about having kids at the time. We discussed it a bit and she said she wasn't ready yet. I didn't push back and let her decide since she's the one who's pregnant. 3 weeks ago she got pregnant again. I was excited but she still wasn't sure. She said she wanted to wait a little longer and I tried asking her for a timeline, but she just said when she felt ready she'd let me know. I asked her if she still wanted kids at all and she gave me a non-answer where she said she didn't know if she wanted kids anymore and wouldn't elaborate. I didn't want to pressure her to do anything, but I told her that I wanted to have kids and that I needed to rethink our relationship if this was the route she wanted to take. She got the procedure done and I started the divorce proceedings a few weeks later. Some of our mutuals are saying I was wrong to separate because of this, and she's called me a few times sobbing. I want to be with her, but having kids and starting a family is really important to me, and it feels like she's been too unsure and unclear about what she wants, and has been stringing me along in the process. Am I the idiot for divorcing my wife? Yeah, definitely not the idiot. This relationship isn't going to work out. You both want different things. Just end it and move on. Then find someone that actually does want what you want. Her not wanting kids is okay, but what's not okay is her stringing you along with non-answers and crappy communication just to keep you with her. Are you not allowed to feel betrayed that you entered a marriage assuming you shared common goals only to find out she lied? Exactly, she got pregnant twice since you've been married but ended it both times because she didn't feel ready, even though you were actively trying both times. If you aren't on the same page when starting a family, I see no point in continuing the relationship. I question the mindset of a woman who actively tries to get pregnant and then changes her mind twice. I think it's not good to have kids with someone like that. This isn't normal behavior. Dude, you're doing the right thing. End it. Find someone who wants the same things as you. I did, and I don't regret divorcing him at all. I'm so much happier with a partner who is honest about their life plan. My husband, 30, has severe abandonment trauma caused by Mommy Dearest. She dropped him off on his dad's doorstep when he was 5. He'd only met his dad a handful of times and took off for a year. During that year, his dad dropped him off on DHHS's doorstep and he ended up in foster care. When his mom finally did fight for him back, 7 months later, she regained custody just to give guardianship to her oldest daughter, 24 at the time, She's nasty and manipulative, just like mother-in-law, and then was in and out of my husband's life until he was maybe 19, when her presence became more permanent. I met him when he was 22 and still living with his sister. I've always hated his mom for what she did to him, but it was set in stone after I lost our child. He and I had been together maybe 5 months. She came to our house unannounced to check on her son as I was bleeding out and said to him, "It's for the best, honey." She didn't say 2 words to me. She just told him it was best that our baby was gone. For the past 8 years, she's always shot him down. He wanted to move out of state and she convinced him not to. Every time he wants to take a certain career path, she convinces him not to. Instead, she tries convincing him to work with her at a rehab facility, making pennies on the dollar. If he wants to sell one of his vehicles, she convinces him to just give it to her instead. And now that we have a daughter, stuff is just getting worse. For whatever reason, she decided to tell us at our baby shower that she was indifferent about me being pregnant. And then, when I was giving birth, she literally showed up and waltzed right into the labour and delivery room and clung to my husband. She told all the nurses she came to support her baby. "I just came here to hold my baby up." Not once did she ask how I was or if I needed anything. I told her to get the heck out. Surprisingly, my husband screamed at her to get out after she didn't listen to me. It's a big brownie points moment for him. I was so damn proud. But anyway, since our daughter is now a few months old, he's been talking about starting his own business. His mom showed up here yesterday and he was talking to her about it. She told him he should leave the state and start working, secure a place down there and send for us. Now keep in mind, as I said above, she literally convinced him not to leave the state years ago, so this is a messed up way for her to get him away from me and the baby. And he's truly so dense that he doesn't see it because she's never openly told anyone that she doesn't like me. She's never crap-talked me. It's always so sugar-coated that it's nearly impossible to pick up on it, unless you're looking for it. But anyway, I said, my husband is not leaving me and the baby to go secure anything out of state. She said something like, "It would be best for everyone. There's more opportunities." So I snapped and said, "Oh, so you want him to abandon us like you abandoned him? Sure, babe, go ahead and leave for a year. Maybe I'll drop the baby off on DHHS's doorstep too and make the situation more comfortable for your mom. Time to cut the damn umbilical cord and be done with this woman, or you can be done with me." My mother-in-law turned and slammed out of the house, called my husband and said, "Make a choice right now, me or her. If that toxic witch stays, you will never see me again." Now my husband won't talk to either of us because we are acting like children, but he told me that what I said was damn wrong, and apparently me just trying to make him look like an idiot for having abandonment issues. Edit, she's only held my daughter once, for maybe 3 minutes. She took her from my husband's arms, held her briefly, and then stuck her in the swing, saying, "If you hold her all the time, then she'll get used to it and never want to be put down." I think my daughter was 4 days old. She hasn't held her since, but she's been here 8+ times, always asking my husband to go to her house and help her with something. So she's been trying to get him away from the house so he isn't spending time with us. And I'm going to be transparent here and say that I 100% meant to say what I said to her, knowing it could lead to a trauma response. Here's the thing. I've tried getting him to go to therapy. He booked an appointment, but Mommy convinced him not to go. After all, he doesn't need it, and I'm seeing a problem where there is none, and he could be doing something he enjoys instead. When my mother-in-law told him that he should skip state and leave me and the baby behind, he nodded and said, "Right," and agreed that it was a good idea. He was considering it. So I purposely pulled at those trauma strings to make him see how screwed up this was and how similar the situation was to what his mother did to him. She ditched the state, leaving her kid behind. She abandoned him. She made everyone believe that she was doing it for everyone's benefit, the same way she's trying to convince him it would benefit us. So did I do that on purpose? Yes. Was it screwed up? Also yes. But he needed to see it for what it was, and so far he hasn't. Maybe now he will. Oh dear, not the idiot. Your mother-in-law is a narcissist. She doesn't see her own son as anything but a source of supply and is scared that his starting a family with you will take him away from her. She's love-bombed and manipulated him into baby. Her pregnancy was of no importance to me, etc. Because I'm also assuming that she avoids talking directly to you since she's too busy buttering up her son. He's a victim of narcissistic abuse and he doesn't even realize it. But he's lucky to have your level-headed, rational self as his wife. The poor man is happy to have his mom in his life, but he doesn't realize he'd be much better off without her. I'd be willing to bet that if mother-in-law wins by breaking up OP's marriage, she'll drop her son like a hot potato. Again. Did you cross the line with what you said? Maybe, but you were pushed. He still isn't making a decision and is still playing Switzerland by not speaking to either of you. That is not making a choice. I'm sorry to say this, girl. She'll stick around until she's bled him dry, and when he's broken and useless, well, there's a granddaughter that'll probably be a pretty good age to target. I think you should take her up on the offer to move out of state. Your husband gets a job out of state, your whole family moves on the same day, and you conveniently forget your mother-in-law's number. If your husband is so under the control of his mom, you should probably be the one with the big scissors to cut the cord.